Good day, Rhode Island. I'm Mike Stenhouse, welcoming you to our Center's debate series, What's Really in Your Best Interests. Today, we'll explore whether or not a boulevard concept is a better option than rebuilding the 610 connector according to the state's plan. Our guest today is James Kennedy, author and editor of Transport Providence and member of Move Together Providence. Welcome, James.
Yeah, thank you for having me on your show.
We're a free market think tank. How would you describe your political philosophy?
I think it would be fair to say that I'm on the left of a lot of issues, but surprisingly enough, a lot of urbanist issues are actually about restoring free markets and lowering costs, um, and harkening back to traditional ways of building cities and towns.
You and I have had a good debate ongoing with some others on Twitter, so that's why we invited you. Would you also say you're part of the sustainable development, smart growth philosophy as well?
I think if you drew a Venn diagram, there would be a lot of overlap. It would kind of depend on what you meant by that, I suppose.
Well, I've never
So.
drawn one of those, so we'll leave that to the imagination of our viewers here. But you're also a biker, and I think you also are kind of advocating as part of this whole thing biker rights as well, right?
Well, I ride a bike and I take the bus and walk places. And my wife just recently bought a car, so that kind of means we have all four covered. Um,
All of the above.
yeah, all of the above.
All right, terrific. Well, let's debate. So the state is planning a green gateway, headlined in the Providence Journal a few weeks ago. It's a underground tunnel instead of the overground 610 connector with on top kind of this green park type area. What do you think of the state's gateway plan?
Uh, there are some ways in which, in the immediate area, it may be nice to have a cap. However, the problem with it is that it's really one of the most expensive ways to get that result. And so we really disagree with the state's plan. And one thing really to point out to your viewers is that RIDOT has been going to great lengths to describe their plan as a boulevard. And they are certainly entitled to advocate for their plan, but whatever it is, it's certainly not a boulevard.
We're going to
Um,
talk about your boulevard in just a second, but I'm
yeah.
on record saying it's kind of a bait and switch by the state. I mean, we were told this was all about fixing bridges and roads, and now we're hearing about underground tunnels and green gateways. Do you agree that this is not what we were sold?
Well, a lot of what they're building is still bridges. And one of the ways that our plan differs from their plan is that we really call for shortening a lot of those bridges,
Okay.
which would save us a lot of tax money.
All right. Well, you referred to the tunnel, I guess, as the 610 dig. I've referred to it as Big Dig 2. So I think we're kind of
Yeah,
in agreement that it could become a very big boondoggle, correct?
yeah, I think that that's definitely true. I think we agree on that.
All right, let's talk about the boulevard. So just tell us the boulevard concept and where it stands, how you've brought it to pass, and where it is in the public discourse right now.
Well, boulevards were originally a fairly radical concept maybe 40 years ago, but they've now come along quite a way where they've been done all over the world, all over the country, and we've seen that they're successful. They deal well with traffic. They tend to restore property values around the road, whereas the highway tends to defeat property values. They also cost a lot less. So rebuilding the highway is going to cost us a lot more, but it's going to leave us with less land to develop, less desirability for land if we were to develop it, and then also just not deal with traffic as well as the boulevard would.
So where is your concept right now? Is it in the public discussion? Is there any reason to think the state is seriously considering it?
I think the state's going to have to seriously consider it because, for one thing, the city of Providence very much wants a boulevard and not a green gateway. I think also the federal government is looking surprisingly much closer at the way that these urban highways have been built and rethinking whether they're really worth the money. When the Eisenhower administration set out to create an interstate highway system, the plan was not to put highways through cities. It was to put them on the outside of cities so that you could go quickly between two productive points and then have roads that came off of them that you could connect to those points. And it was really because of insider politics, sometimes unions, sometimes construction firms or whatnot. So you kind of have your villains on left or right. that a lot of cities decided to build them through the cities instead. And oftentimes that meant demolishing parts of neighborhoods, and it just had a devastating effect on the value of those
All right.
places.
All right, well, before we get into more details, one last question before we take a break. We're going to do two segments here. So let's finish this segment. So still, you're talking about the people of Providence, but it's state money. We've been told that this was a statewide initiative. It was statewide law that passed to approve this. So how do you, who's paying for this, and how do you justify? Again, we were sold that this was a statewide project to fix bridges and roads, not a Providence project. So how do you justify that this should be part of the roadworks plan, even your boulevard?
Um, well, I think that whatever plan we build, it should definitely have the input of the communities it's going through. And your colleague Justin Katz has agreed with me. He wrote a post to that effect. I think you do have a point that it's state and in some cases federal money that's at play. And I think that my response to that would be that we should build something that works the best for commuters as well as for the people that are living in the places that the road goes through.
All right, let's
Uh,
explore that a little bit more in our next
yeah,
segment. We're going to take a break right here, and we'll be back with James Kennedy and the Boulevard Concept, segment two, in just a moment.
great. Thank you.